But we know that he was an idiot in this other clip. There's no question.
So now I think the reason why we're talking about that is because I think you'd have to be drunk to say about 90% of the things that Joe Biden says. But listen to this super soon to be classic from this weekend.
There's not one single thing being proposed, not one, that infringes upon anyone's Second Amendment constitutional right. This is not about anybody's constitutional right to own a weapon. Tell me how it violates anyone's constitutional right to be limited to a clip that holds 10 rounds.
To be what?
Stop.
So
to be limited. To be limited. Tell me how it infringes on your constitutional right to be limited in buying a certain kind of clip.
Well, let's read the Second Amendment, first of all. Your right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
Shall not be infringed.
What is the definition of infringed?
Act so as to limit.
He uses the word.
Not an infringement just to limit what you can buy.
But limit is the definition of infringed.
Have you heard him sing the Villages song?
Yes.
Pretty good. He's pretty good.
That's one of the most incredible.
That's amazing.
And that's the thing they don't understand. Shall not be limited. That's what you can change. Or there's actually two definitions of limited, and one is even worse. If you changed infringe to the two definitions, it would be this: the people's right to own and bear arms shall not be limited. 2, the people's right to keep and bear arms shall not be undermined. Those are the two definitions of infringed: undermined or limited. They're doing both of them. Because all of this stuff about background checks, I'm sorry, I am for reasonable background checks. I'm fine. But you cannot give these people any more power. They were talking about, now this is common sense. You don't want guns in the hands of crazy people. Adam Lanza, crazy. Well, first of all, he didn't get a background check. Second of all, how do you define crazy? And at third, if you're trying to keep him out of the hands of somebody who is crazy, then what you have to do is you have to say, does anybody in the house, have you ever been on Prozac? Have you ever been depressed? Are you seeing anybody right now? Are you seeing a psychiatrist, a psychologist? As soon as any of those wires are tripped, you lose your gun. That's what has to happen. And not Adam Lanza guns, because he didn't have one. His mom and dad's gun. It requires you, these common sense thing. Please, America, use common sense. If you say we have to have certain litmus tests on mental health, here's the litmus test, the common sense litmus test. Have you ever been diagnosed as depressed? Have you ever taken an antidepressant or antipsychotic medication? The answer for about 30% of this country, 40% is yes. Yes.
No, it's tens of millions. I don't know how many people take antidepressants now or previously.
Or have been.
I mean, if the question is, have you ever? I'll bet it's about half the country.
Yeah.
And then not to mention, maybe you've talked to someone in therapy, grief counseling.
Yeah.
Who knows?
And are you going to include Ritalin and those kinds of ADHD drugs?
Of course. Anything that would affect your mood or your thinking. Anything that has the potential. I mean, I just took some stuff for my small fiber neuropathy. What's it called? Gabapentin. And I took this stuff, and it does not do good things to you. Hated it, on it for about 2 weeks. Well, now, if I'm taking that, what does that mean? Does that mean that I now, because I'm taking it, I think it's an I don't even know what it's for.
That's what I was going to mention, because
I think it's an antidepressant, but that's not what I used it for.
Right, they have dual purposes.
Correct.
You can take it for neuropathy, or you could take it for antidepressant purposes.
Right. And so you're taking that because it does dual purposes. Does that put me on a watch list?
It probably would.
It probably would. I think it would guarantee it would.
It might not even start there. But, that's what happens. They include one thing. Then somebody who took that drug at some point in their life goes and does a mass killing, and they say, well, we have to watch everybody who's on this drug. Well, I mean, they were doing that with it. There was an acne medication.
Yeah,
what was it?
Exactly right.
The guy, one of the guys, remember, he smashed a plane into a building in Tampa, and they were blaming the Accutane. That's what it was, Accutane. And they were blaming that. Does everyone who's ever took Accutane on a warning list?
I was just going to say, because on gabapentin, I took it, and it really did horrible things. And, I love this. I just love this. The side effects, the warning side effects were weight gain. Thank you for that. Depression, suicidal thoughts. And I'm like, okay, I don't want all of those are bad.
Wait a minute. The side effects are like your life story.
I know. All of these are bad. All of these are bad. It's got like Glenn Beck nightmare drug. No, thank you. No, thank you. So if you took that, not even saying you had anything, if you just took that, wouldn't you, because the side effects could be, wouldn't you lose your right to a gun? Because that's common sense. Hey, he's taking something that could lead to those things. We should probably keep the guns away from him. That's exactly what will happen, gang.
And listen to the side effect warning on virtually every drug that's advertised.
Everything.
They're all like that.
They're all like that.
May cause eyes to bleed, headache, fatigue, drowsiness, death, tuberculosis, cancer, sudden death, heart failure, brain tumors.
Or suicidal thoughts after reading all of these warnings.
And I love the fact that the ones that are supposed to prevent you from committing suicide can cause suicide.
I know, I love that.
What is that?
May hasten self-hatred. What?
I'm still stuck on the Glenn Beck movie poster. Depression, suicidal thoughts, weight gain. The Glenn Beck story, starring John Goodman. I think we have something there.
I think you're onto something.
Brought to you by gabapentin. Have you seen your doctor? I was fat, depressed, and suicidal. That's why I'm on gabapentin. Of course, the side effects could be weight gain, suicide, and depression. See your doctor. I love that. It's so stupid. But that's where they will get us. Is all they want is to open up enough doors. And if you don't think they'll walk right through them, you're crazy. You're crazy. Maybe you should see your doctor.
More importantly, the Joe Biden poll is up at glennbeck.com. Vote now. Watch the video.
You gotta watch the video.
As a
journalist.
journalist.
Listen. I'm not looking for because everybody's just saying, that's Joe Biden. I want you to actually... when you're taking that poll, listen to me. When you're taking that poll, I want you to see Jesus on the other side of the desk.
Yep.
I want Jesus to be the one you look in the eye and go, yes, Jesus, I am sure that is Joe Biden. That's what I want.
Well, I mean, it's your belief. You can't. I guess you can't be 100% sure.
You believe in
but,
Jesus,
right?
Good.
Which one do you think is true?
And I don't do it for comedy's sake. Just do it.
Just do it. Seriously. I'd like to know because I don't think there's any question.
But I don't want you to take this as a joke. I want you to seriously tell me, really, in your heart of hearts, that's him. How did it get out?
We have a preliminary vote on glennbeck.com already from the people that have already voted. It's only 80%.
Only 80%.
The village.
All right, tell me.
Here's our sponsor this half hour.
Is it the Villagers?
It's not the Villagers.